So poetry, as many of you know, most of you know, is vital to T-Space. And at this celebration of Erica Hunt, the recipient of our 14th annual T-Space Poetry Award, we're especially delighted to welcome several of our past Poetry Award winners who are with us today. Ann Lauterbach, Charles Bernstein, and George Quasha, and I think, yeah, and Carter Radcliffe is here. There he is. Erica is a singular voice in contemporary poetry, known for works that bring together language, history, politics, and experiment with beautiful clarity and imagination. She's the author of Jump the Clock, Veronica, A Suite in X Parts, Peace Logic, Arcade, and Local History, and co-edited with Dawn Lundy Martin of Letters to the Future, Black Women, Radical Writing. Some of you might know, Erica also serves as poetry editor of the Brooklyn Rail, where she recently curated a wonderful April Critics page, bringing together poets and visual artists in a series of hybrid works that explored a creative exchange between text and image. Her recent works include collaborations with composers Marty Ehrlich, Ingrid Laubrock, and Mira Melford, and her libretto, Bracelet of Light, with composer John Aylward, is forthcoming. We're also pleased to be presenting her video work, Murmurations, on the monitor inside the archive right here. Please join me in welcoming Erica Hunt.
Hello, good afternoon. What a spectacular June day, right? Ugh. I hope you find a seat. I might go on a little bit, but thanks as always. Thank you to Susan, to Stephen, to Margaret Saliske, with whom I share this occasion. Thank you for this occasion to read poems, still resonant to me. There's some older poems, and I'll read one new one, but mostly I will read some poems that have been around. It's good to see some familiar faces also. Hi, George. Yeah. Let's see. Thanks as always to Marty, my partner and collaboration. He will be bringing a music suite for you that he's been working on at the latter part of this performance. Partner, collaborator, he reminds me that art is a conversation. It's a humming, call, response, and silence. Acceptance of difference. I've been saying that lately. How do we accept difference in this world without thinking it's a threat or a conflict? Other thing I've been reflecting on is patience. As you get older, you gotta get patient. That's for sure. Please do check out the Murmurations little clip that's here. I discovered Murmurations in this very county. I was staying for a couple of weeks on a lake in Red Hook, and I saw birds fly together, not as a pyramid, but as one body. And I said, is that a murmuration? Because of course, we can have the word, but not the thing. And that began a long trail of investigating murmurations and other flocking and swarming behavior as an example of collective decision-making, not as hierarchy, but as a group, depending on its survival, and a group of individuals depending on a group for their own survival. It actually helps them survive, as opposed to, survival of the fittest. It's actually survival of the group because of using the muscle of collective intelligence and decision-making. Very moving to me, so gives me hope in times like these. So I'm just going to start reading through some poems that still, as I said, resonate for me. Check the time. Gloss, a catalog of feeling. Approach, to find one's tongue in one's mouth. Courtship, to use an assumed name. Romance, to pencil the present, to pack the brackets, to sight read weather. Request, to test the heat for empty, to talk straight. Refusal, to walk around oneself. Denial, to have the last word. Flirt. She writes a text backwards to a curtained modesty. Appeasement. He paints himself in. Passion. Adjectives wag the dog. Passion. She takes a step back and can see herself fully in a darkened pane of glass in the kitchen window. Passion. He thought sentences had only two sides to them, the bottom and the top. But now love multiplies possible positions. Hard. He throws his gravelly voice. He shifts from where he begins and ends. Pursuit of motion. She breaks into the present tense. She spins through her skin. She shows her muscle. A race of borders. She drinks, draining the cup, thinking it's the same one that she poured. Stepping off. He is impatient to be that one with her. Stepping off. Her subplot as well. Their armor looks related. Immersion. They lock eyes and are surprised by the vertigo they see there. He puts his thumbs in his ears and hears his heart unribboning. Sound and rhythm in the distance. She feels like paper caught in the updraft of a quiet explosion. Who lit the match? The lights flicker, it spreads. Every conversation ends with a question. So I like to play games with words. I'm an experimentalist. So I'm constantly seeing how tight you can pull the rope of language and still have people follow, not break. Momentary wind in my ears during the channel crossing. We hang on to each other, massage the exchange of heat, radiant, unlit, aromatic. Exclamation, look, 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 look. Look back to back on it where our embrace has brought us to the other side of the beloved. Behind the face, we're within inches of an extreme edge of our most forward selves. Suits us, don't you think? To be that close to living, skin not indentured to the imagination. You stir again, or is that me, unwinding the elastic bits, both of us tied in such unexpected places, the curve of a back, a waiting bracket. Our silhouettes unfold. We're back from exile. We find form. Our legs, thighs. We're a tree, substance returning to liquid, and even moisture you lay down paints my skin. Rinses the label, slips me a peel, rising from my hands, my feet, and it gives you back your sense of touch. There's a storm, close enough to tip us over. It's love without a net. Woman with Wings. The way out of the library isn't always clear. Victory, or so she calls herself, drives with me. We move, closing the zipper across the landscape, joining two sides of an emotion together. Up ahead, at the fork, causality breaks into a side effect. We interrupt the librarian's silent monologue. It drains his face of animation, sucks the air from the room. There's the librarian. He's barring the exit like a bad habit. It is possible to train these associations whether you like them or not. With practice, you can predict defeat or summon the sun, rise over the scene murderously. Work is pushing past resistance. Work is pushing past resistance, past the sense it has all been written before, spilling off the library shelves. Sometimes you can read with the headlights on. Sometimes you can drive to moods for which no correlates exist, only curves, shaded paths in the wilderness, occasional plots of land ignored by absentee owners. The cars ahead of us have disappeared. Finally, the way is clear. We have come to a way out, past the flocked walls, the manipulated seams, past the unzippered feeling, the tacit violence between teeth. Oh, that trick with the mirrors and speed. There's always a different person who emerges in these poems for me. It turns out that I've been listening a lot, and then they come out at unexpected moments. Invisible Hands. This is a work about labor. Invisible hands trade down the block or around the world, down the food chain, from forward to back, to escape the air-grabbing heat. The crop fails. The monsoon comes in June. A fluke of the weather, a storm of flowers whipped into a rain that claims the last village. The residents head out to the city to make money. They never make the money they seek. Instead, they make keychains, sneakers, baseball gloves, flame-proof nightwear, transmissions, stereos, computer chips, Gap jeans, rugby polo shirts, dolls with the features of Norteamericanos or slave girls or Indian princesses, living their lives in legend unlike their own, except for an unlocatable middle. You know, just in time. Just in time, the chain continues unbroken to unwind the thing after the thing. It's a line of never broken nouns. And if it breaks, we fix it quick so that the chain can never be broken, even if it shouts out, there's a chorus for that shovel. That rocks never seem to disappear but become dust, a dust that lasts from morning to morning, chained to a logic we are doomed to follow. Invisible hands seem to rice the peas, spice the rice, circle the turns, turn on the presses, raise the letters, letter the spaces, address the edges before they bang into one another, mask the connections. Invisible hands milk the spill, ship the ink, jump the rope, rip the chute, lay the trail, time the tear, eye the glass, bat the wing, bat the lash, brown the tan, fiddle the sticks, ride the herd, read the horde, hear the roar, read the dim, damp the rhyme the orange, toast the storage. Invisible hands carry the thread the vows, stall the calls. Invisible hands carry the thread the vows, stall the calls, pour the molds, powder the walls, dent the bins, stamp the bills, core the questions, comma the nouns, time the charts, corner the squares, square the curves, loosen the jaws, spill the beans, bell the cats, feed the beasts. You know, it's years before a family will follow off the edge of the ramp into this putative new life where the past has vanished and the present is all time charts. It's It's all marked invisibly, only it's visibly hot in a red dark of selective vision, in plain sight and out of sight. One hand tries to clap the other, as in the phrase, "Give me some skin." The slap of palms, right hand to right hand empty, to show there is no weapon here. We come in peace. We come out of the hypnotic circle that orbits and holds us in constant bind of stick 'em up and lap dancing, out of this rigged destiny, across the violent border of property and oblivion, until hands can be detected again in the bric-a-brac of the world. Proof that we live in a broken world and a broken world is unlivable. Proof that the carrots turn into the stick and vice versa. Proof that that seems normal, self-sufficient. Proof that sometimes we destroy things that are broken and can't be fixed, and sometimes we fix things because to live with them broken is unthinkable. Proof that we switch roles, sometimes to destroy things that are broken and can't be fixed, and sometimes to live with things that are broken because to fix them would be unthinkable. Proof that we learn to live with the unthinkable. Rectangles in tangerine, orange, and persimmon fall into place. They take our names. They simulate full hands. Proof that having full hands leave no time for bothersome questions. Proof that we can't help grabbing the sharp end, even when all the warnings are there. Proof that we find the hot water, or the hot water finds us. Proof in this tongue of ruin and burn. We are fluent in the language of minus. The trees have fallen and the forest is coming apart. Hey, proof then by reading it on paper. Proof in unmarked bills. Line by line, our eyes fill up with witness. There were mornings as clear as glass. Can stones be far behind? Oh, okay. Okay, I have to leave room for that long poem. Okay. The shoemaker's children, household gods. The shoemaker's children have no shoes. Outside the house of broken things, she never knows how to choose appliances. When she sees them now, fully dressed, off an examining table, she barely recognizes them in their bright packaging, surrounded by snowy white styrofoam and suggestively cut cardboard. Even the relatively denuded model appliances in the store aisles seem worlds away from the electronic anatomies she and her colleagues disassemble, and reconstruct. They seem coy. The way the naked body, when clothed or partially clothed, is coy. The bodice frames the breasts, the thong nuzzles the thigh. Where it meets the coil, the strap caresses the shoulder as it falls. She is momentarily baffled and aroused by the come-ons of appliances in the marketplace, the shutters in shameless steel. Not only the modern appliances, but even the old ones that she sees at the flea market. Well, the way their belts are strapped, discreet but fits visible from below, the springs locked in visor grips, the stiff joints tense, the compact weight registering in the palms and the tips of her fingers as she tries all the buttons. When she finally makes it to the appliance section of the Kmart to replace the microwave or toaster, she is as covert in her investigations as a businessman in a suburban tit bar. Reinflatable happiness. Toaster breaks, and she cruises the aisles of the mega stores. She's looking for a new one. Sometimes she looks even if she doesn't need a new toaster. Sometimes, on such days, she feels especially dirty. She doesn't want to be recognized. The salesman breaks the strap on the package to extract a toaster to display to her. Cord's pretty long, he says, as he unwraps the tie, holding the electric cord. It fits any outlet, see, like this. And he demonstrates. Toaster ovens generally fall into two ranges, cheap, expensive, you know, the convection type. That'll roast a meat or stew, defrost food. That's gonna set you back a few ducats. Rapid, even heat, dry heat, safely contained, a dizzying heat, heat of no radiance, heat cubed, multiplied without becoming spent. The salesman describes the oven in a manner that defies physical law. It supplies perpetual heat, natural law broken in this disordered universe. For some reason, this sounds just right to her. At home, the thing breaks, and she can't find the warranty, just like the rest of us. Concentration destroyed by sirens, the effects of the lack of effect. It doesn't plug in as advertised. It burns the toast. It bites the hand that feeds it. It remains bone cold. The washing machine churns and walks across the utility room in agitation. It throws up soap suds and unaccountably has accidents on the floor. The iron scorches and whistles. It never means what it says. Rumples the linen and burns the nylon. The microwave sings and hisses and melts the plastic containers it tends. The refrigerator never ceases humming, sometimes breaking into postmodern cold jet choruses, and all the food in it spoils. The dishwasher breaks glasses. It fits, puts food on the plates that have been thoroughly rinsed before they were placed in the rack. She's never had a CD player that liked the music she likes to play. Here we go. Okay, this is so new. Oh my gosh. But why not? Right? It's like the 5th version, but let's see. This is based on She's Got the Whole World in Her Hands. She got the whole world in her hands, and then each word begins the run-on sentence. She's all right, if you know what I mean. She's the type that will do if you're in a pinch and don't care too much where things land at the end, as long as it's all there. And if you are willing to overlook where the lines don't quite meet, or the subject drops off and you can't distinguish between the premise, the priorities, the threat from the forest. See, how do I move this down? Come on, there you go. The threat from the forest, you can't be blamed. For who can tell you, the reader, exactly what to do? And how would you even know the correct seasoning? It's like a dish you've never made before. Is it cumin or turmeric or cayenne? Each spice has its virtue. It may depend on what you need. And then again, you can't tell what you need until you have noticed a rough edge, begging the question, which world is it? Which world is it? This world where the food is never too salty? Or is it some other world that you prefer, where you dream? The contrast can do you good. No salt sharpens the senses, and tongues learn. Not everything is about wit or sunshine or smoked fish, but kindness. She's got, where's God? God. Here it is. She's got experience with a lot of different situations, telling a story, though lately forgetting to tell the story, but she makes do. She starts at the end of that experience, and you are there. You are here, listening, or half listening. You are with her. In a familiar room, many doors, one window, and you realize she's improvising, waiting for the openings to suggest a direction, but she refuses to consult a map. Pesky loose ends. She's one of those people who are almost insulted if you refer her back to the map, the narrative instructions on where to look for the next turn, the map as if it were optional, a suggestion. She huffs and draws herself up as constituted. She huffs and draws herself up as if the world as constituted is an assault on her creativity, except creativity for her is a whirlwind. It's a leaky faucet with a loose cover in front of a fan, or the butter left out on a hot summer day, or a bottle of beer shaken and opened in the middle of the room. She's the master of conjunction. And, all ands and no buts, no visible clips, fastening matter to matter, connection recommended but not required. As if you are in the same room as she is, in the same room as her imagination, persuading you that you could be here, home if you could find a parking spot, or if the bus schedule was accurate in registering miles in centuries or seconds, passing as she does. Time waits at the stoplight to take a breath and say, I'm almost home. She's gotten holy, where is it? What happened? Oh, brought into the hectoring model of an impossible perfection, despite efforts to avoid the platonic ideal and its responsibilities, to protect, serve, cook, sex, and prune, ready at all times, journey around the clock, as if the clock were still round and not a digital flipped card. World that catches up with her at last. Her body relaxes, winds down to sleep, past fits and starts and bells, sounding alerts and dreams, past commas. Her dream images go faster and faster and faster. Downhill without breaks all night. Approaches day. It picks up speed. There's another night. It goes by too fast, she thinks, letting her body play all kinds of tricks, swirling her into the pre-adolescent dervish she once was, or she can remember hearing more than once. She did not seem to understand the rules. Was she ever told? Except one step at a time. Mother, may I? Or not ask when she could make objects vanish. For instance, the hated peas on the dinner plate disappearing into her pocket before she left the table. In a minute, if she is lucky, she finds just the right opening, the breakthrough, even if unlabeled under a borrowed name, stirs the ashes, asks how it feels to be them, to give voice to a self that has been speaking in their own way, not hers alone, but laconically plural, indignant, unaccustomed to airing their thoughts, and accustomed to disguise or silence. Like God with a blindfold. She's her own alibi. And there is no telling where you have been. Reader, you are not a still center either. No, you are a captive of nor are you a captive of an abracadabra. You are a world maker too, reader. As deeply implicated as the speaker. We're part of a duet or a chorus, one voice among the centripetal voices drawn together, producing units of meaning, storehouses of Costco incubated objects to populate the whole world's parallel lives among the many millions born on the same day with no obvious affinity, but nonetheless sharing the first day and stripped of the customary pause between me and you and she and him and them and we, and she hands it to us, the whole world. Though our eyes by now are watering. Delay between being and receiving. We get it. We get it. The world is a flicker to keep alive. Thank you.